In every corner of our planet, a hidden war is constantly being fought between rival ant colonies. These tiny soldiers use weapons provided by nature, from thick armor to lethal stingers and sharp jaws. Some rely on brute strength and physical defenses to dominate their territory and protect their queen. Others use chemical warfare or venomous stingers to paralyze their enemies in the heat of battle. Then there is a small and seemingly unimpressive ant that has built the largest empire on Earth. Despite its tiny size, the Argentine ant rules over a colony that spans multiple continents and oceans. This global supercolony engages in wars that result in millions of casualties every single year. Their success is not due to individual strength, but to their incredible numbers and unique social structure. Meet the Linapithema humile, more commonly known as the Argentine ant, a true master of conquest. Today, we explore how this unlikely warrior conquered the world in a nutshell. Our story begins in the floodplains of the Paraná Delta, located in the heart of South America. This area is a crowded metropolis for ants, where dozens of species fight for every inch of land. In this native range, Argentine ants must compete with fierce rivals like fire ants and army ants. Measuring only a few millimeters, it is a wonder they survived among such aggressive and larger competitors. With tiny jaws and no powerful stinger, they seem ill-equipped for the brutal world of ant warfare. Their homes are equally simple, often found in shallow soil or under discarded leaves and logs. Their colonies range in size, but they are highly adaptable to almost any environment they encounter. They frequently take over the former homes of other ants, expanding their reach across the delta floor.
In the face of danger, their greatest weapon is not armor or venom, but their own bodies.
They rely on overwhelming numbers to defeat enemies that are individually much stronger than themselves.
Most ant species have a single queen who produces all the offspring for the entire colony.
Argentine ants changed the rules by having many queens working together within a single colony.
For every 100 workers, there is often one queen laying up to 60 eggs every day.
This allows their population to explode, growing from thousands to millions in a very short time. In just a few months, a small group can become a massive force of billions of individuals.
Teams of queens and workers frequently leave to found new satellite colonies nearby.
As they spread, small genetic mutations occur, causing different colonies to eventually become rivals.
In their native South America, these distant cousins compete fiercely for resources and territory. Within their own group, they are perfectly organized, but they show no mercy to outsiders.
This balance of competition kept their population in check for thousands of years.
Everything changed when humans began transporting goods across the globe on massive ships. A few queens hitched a ride as stowaways, hidden deep within the cargo of South American ships.
By the late 1800s, they had reached Madeira, New Orleans, and the coast of California.
These ants suddenly found themselves in a strange new world, far from their native rivals.
Instead of deadly enemies, they found only victims who could not fight back effectively.
Without the competition of their homeland, their population began to explode across new continents.
Because only a few queens were introduced, the new colonies had very low genetic diversity. Strangely,
These ants kill up to 90% of their own queens every single year.
This process leaves only a few queens, resulting in an even more uniform genetic makeup.
Because they all smell the same, ants from different nests no longer recognize each other as enemies. Instead of fighting, these colonies began to cooperate, forming what scientists call a supercolony. This is a rare strategy in the ant world, used by only a few species. The Argentine ant has created the largest society on Earth, even bigger than human civilization.
One massive supercolony stretches for thousands of miles along the coast of California.
They have established sister locations on 6 continents, forming a global network of cooperation.
An ant from Japan would be welcomed into a nest in Europe as if it were home.
This lack of internal conflict allows them to focus all their energy on expansion.
They are more numerous than humans, with trillions of individuals working toward a single goal.
Their success has come at a great cost to the ecosystems they invade.
In many places, they have completely replaced the local ant populations.
California provides a perfect example of how the Argentine ant changes its environment.
The native carpenter ant is a giant compared to the tiny Argentine invader.
Despite their size, carpenter ant colonies are small, usually numbering only a few thousand. They stand no chance against a supercolony that can send millions of soldiers to one location. Argentine ants attack by wiping toxic chemicals on their victims to irritate and mark them. This signal tells other Argentine ants to join the attack and overwhelm the enemy. They work together to pull apart the limbs of their much larger opponents. It doesn't matter how many Argentine ants die, there are always millions more to take their place.
Once a colony is defeated, the invaders feed on their brood and take over their home. Once a colony is defeated, the invaders feed on their brood and take over their home.
Their massive numbers allow them to hunt down and devour a wide variety of insects. Over time, some local species completely disappear from the territory controlled by the supercolony. They do not cooperate with the local flora and fauna. They simply consume them. Their next stop is often human property, where they make themselves right at home. They sneak into kitchens to claim leftovers, becoming a major nuisance for homeowners everywhere. They forage in dumpsters and pet bowls, finding food in every corner of our lives. Our gardens and farms are also impacted, as the ants protect harmful pests like aphids. The ants treat aphids like cattle, protecting them from predators in exchange for sweet honeydew. Without predators to worry about, the aphid population explodes and eventually kills the plants.
This makes the Argentine ant a significant threat to agriculture around the world.
But the rule of the Argentine ant is now being challenged from within.
Parts of the supercolony have broken off to form their own rival empires.
A merciless civil war has broken out between 2 massive Argentine ant colonies in San Diego.
This war has been raging for years, along a dynamic front line that stretches for miles.
An estimated 30 million ants die in this single conflict every single year. That is a rate of roughly 1 death every second, year-round, in just one location.
The very cooperation that made them successful is now turning into a brutal internal struggle. As the colonies become more genetically distinct, the peace of the supercolony begins to fail. Neither side can gain a permanent advantage, leading to a never-ending cycle of violence. While they fight each other, a new and familiar threat has appeared on the horizon. An old acquaintance from the South American Delta has risen to challenge the empire.
The red imported fire ant was accidentally introduced to the United States decades ago. Fire ants are much larger and more aggressive than their Argentine counterparts. They possess venom-injecting stingers that can quickly kill the smaller Argentine workers. Crucially, these fire ants are also capable of forming massive supercolonies of their own. In many areas, the fire ants have completely exterminated the Argentine supercolonies.
This is a rare defeat for the Argentine Empire, but the war is far from over. Their global network of cooperation remains the greatest success story in ant history. They will continue to defend their kingdom against any enemy that dares to arise.
From the delta to the city, the Argentine ant remains a true master of the world.